Welcome to the Rubric tour for week 3. We are continuing from week 2 with the section on digital shell design. This week we will be focusing on parts D, E, and F. Please make sure that you have your rubric available to refer to as we move through the screencast. So in the second half of digital shell design, the first standard that we're discussing is D, the use of instructional tools. And we'll first focus on presentation number 1. The standard is the selected method of presentation for each activity is appropriate for effective delivery of the content. That one is rather subjective, so you have to make up your mind whether or not it's truly effective and appropriate for the delivery of whatever content you are looking at. In our case, we chose a wide variety of technologies. Just for instance, in every week you should have an introduction or a weekly overview to the week. In week 3, we have a Voki. So we use technology that will record voice and create a animated virtual person. I forgot what they're called. And so you'll have a presentation using that tool. The introduction comes through that tool. In week 2, you were able to see the introduction through an audio file with a visual component. In other weeks, you may have a screencast or something else. All of those methods we decided were appropriate. They varied, but they conveyed the material that we needed to convey. Really, the only warning on this is just because a tool is new and exciting doesn't mean it's actually useful or applicable. So when you're really excited about a new tool, make yourself think about whether or not it's really going to do what you need it to do. Or is it just for show? So standard 2 under D is multimodal instruction. A variety of instructional delivery methods accommodating multiple learning styles are available throughout the course. So we can just look at our introductions again for that, in that we used a variety of modes to convey information. Some of the modes were geared towards more visual learners, some were toward audio learners. Let's look at one of our packets for this week. So in designing your units, you came across, this is a Prezi, so it's going to be mainly for visual learners. But then you come down to the next part of this packet and you have a video, which is a narrated PowerPoint, so you're getting into conveying material specifically to your audio and visual learners. So making sure to use a variety of modes will help a variety of learners learn, but it will also make receiving the material less tedious for them. Use of image, audio, video files, that's standard 3 under use of instructional tools. And the standard is audio and video files have a specific purpose that does not distract from the course goals and objectives. Audio, video, hardware, and software requirements do not extend beyond what is available at the CWI computer labs unless appropriately needed to meet course goals and objectives. So this standard is asking you to make sure that every visible visual item in your course serves a purpose. So like our banners, if they didn't serve some sort of purpose, we should probably take them out. In this case, we're using the banners to break up material and help readers access the material more easily. Really, the standard, I think, is most important in that it makes us think about whatever tools we are requiring our students to use. Even if they don't have it at home, would they have access to those tools in a computer lab. If they do have access to those tools in a computer lab on campus, then we can ask them to use such tools. But we want to make our courses as accessible as possible to everyone. So using very common technology and tools, and not using really expensive tools when it isn't absolutely necessary, is very important. So the next standard is actually under E, Institutional Program Support and Resources. That is referring to, the first one under there is policies. And the standard is that there are links to institutional program information and or policies and procedures. So those actually, standards 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all kind of preloaded into your course. They come under the CWI Student Resources button on the side. So when you click in to that, we'll actually see how those resources are available. So policies, students can access a variety of policies through their through the important campus links. So links to institutional program information, actually that should probably be largely in your syllabus, which would be under the syllabus schedule. So this standard is to make sure that we have actually provided that information to our students. So 2 is support. Links to tutorials and other support sites are provided, as well as instruction for any course-specific technology. So in this button, you will see that students have access to information about tutoring and study labs, information technology and how they can get help, the CWI library, One Stop, the bookstore. Once you click in there, they can use these links to get to those places. We also have information on how to download these different technologies that they might need to complete our courses. So that is how we met the standard, and this should come preloaded. The software links may not, but you are free to copy these links from this class and use that in your own class. So technical support, part 3 of Institutional Program Support and Resources, says links, email addresses, and or phone numbers to technical support are provided. So that is actually still under important campus links. We have a quick reference guide, which has most of the really specific information. So you're probably familiar with this resource, but that resource is available preloaded for our students into the Blackboard course shells. The next standard is ADA support, which is also in that folder. So a statement of ADA compliance and request for special services is provided. That should appear preloaded in your folder, but it should actually be available in your syllabus. An ADA statement should be there as well. So then we have part F, academic support and resources. So number 1, resources, a list of academic resources with links to the institution's library, tutoring center, counseling services, and other resources is provided. These are all provided every time a course shell is created, except for a link to counseling services, because we don't actually have standard counseling services at CWI currently. But you would refer students to One Stop for issues such as that. And then part 2 of academic support and resources is accessibility of resources. Resources and tools are readily accessible in a central location and within unit folders when applicable. Course links are used when applicable. So make sure you leave this button alone. Really, that's the lesson with these 2 standards, is that you need to keep this button there and make sure that students have access to it. Make sure you leave all of these different links within this button. You can add other folders in there. That's completely fine, but make sure that the students continue having access to those. Also, if you're going to refer to one of these resources within a folder and ask that students use it, consider providing a course link to this folder, or providing them access to whatever tool or resource that you're asking them to use within the assignment folder itself. So for instance, in week 2, well, actually it's in week 3, you are asked in theory and instructional design to embed a document. And so what we've done is embedded a video to show you how to embed a document within Blackboard. So we created a space for that resource right where you are actually going to be needing to use that resource or tool. So that is how we have modeled the second half of the digital shell design rubric. Thank you for watching the screencast.